Hey guys, good morning. I'm Natasha Tessier. I have my coffee here. It's early. I just got one kid out the door waiting for the next two, but I'm late on filming this, so I gotta get this going. Today, I wanted to talk about the top Houston suburbs. Hi there, I'm Natasha Tessier. I'm the owner of Dwell Realty and Design here in Houston, brokered by EXP. I'm actually starting a new, not EXP channel, a new realtor channel for realtors. So if you know a realtor that is interested on how to crush and grind it, then have them follow my new channel. I haven't started it yet, but I will keep you guys posted. Today I want to talk about the top Houston suburbs. I have my notes on my computer, and I'm just gonna kind of go through Northwest Houston. That's the area we service, although we do have agents in Sugarland, down in Galveston, Pearland, Friendswood. But for these purposes, I'm gonna start in KATY and kind of go over to the Woodlands. So the first thing is KATY, Texas. If you're looking at a map of Houston, KATY is straight west headed to San Antonio. So basically every freeway is what created every suburb. So I-10 West created KATY, and then a little bit further is Fulshire. And then 290 created Cypress, 249 is kind of the Tomball, Magnolia. And then 45 is, the Woodlands. So we'll go through all that, but on a map, it kind of helps to see where all those suburbs are. KATY has 10 high schools. It is a huge school district. They're all 6A, so in Texas we have rankings 1A to 6A, 6A being the largest. In a 6A school, you may have 4,000 kids in your high school. The Woodlands High School I know has like 4,400. So 6A is the biggest kids per grade, or kids in the school. That's how they rate it, is how many kids are in the school. Out in KATY, you have a great school district. I used to teach out there. Not as many trees as out in the Woodlands and Montgomery area. It's a little more flat. It's kind of old cornfields and stuff, but it is still really pretty. So you have TYPHOON, Texas, which is a huge water park out there that a lot of people love to go to. You have Bass Pro Shops out there. You don't have like a really nice mall or anything. There is a little outdoor mall that has some things near Cinco Ranch, but not like the Woodlands where you have like a Nordstrom and things like that. It is very diverse in KATY, if that's something that's important to you. I'm looking at my notes. And then it's not far from City Center. So City Center is kind of where I grew up in the Memorial area. And that's a great area. It has great shopping. It's an outdoor, it has your Anthropologie and Free People and Lululemon and all those good places. So great movie theater, great hotels. It's really great. So it's not maybe 15-20 minutes from there. So you're just going straight down I-10 to get into Houston. And some of the great neighborhoods out there that we've sold in, there's Jordan Ranch, which is a master plan community, Cross Creek Ranch, Cane Island is a really cool community going up out there. More affordable in the maybe high 200s, low 300s would be Willow Creek Farms. I've sold a house in there. Ellison is a newer neighborhood off 99, kind of on your way to Cypress. And then also, as I mentioned earlier, you can go past KATY to Fulshire. It's actually where my sister lives, and we've sold a couple houses out there too. Great little area, more land and more space. Smaller school district, although they've been 5A, and I have a feeling they're gonna go up to 6A because they've had so many people moving in. So that's kind of and it also has hospitals. You have a Texas Children's, a Memorial Hermann, Methodist. So if you're in the hospital field or wanna be near a hospital, there's plenty of hospitals out that I-10 corridor. Okay, so we're gonna move on from KATY, Fulshire over to Cypress. Cypress has 12 high schools, also all 6A, huge school district, huge football stadium. Well, all of them do. KATY has a huge football stadium. Cypress has a huge football stadium. There are also outlet malls out in Cypress off 290, which a lot of people like to visit. There's a new movie theater, a dine-in theater out there. Lots of different bars and restaurants. Not really like a small town feel or like one main street, but there's, just a lot to offer. And then in those neighborhoods, really the neighborhoods have a lot to offer as well. If you're looking in Cypress, you may want to look at Town Lake. That's a community on the water. It's one of the only communities that you can actually boat in and have you know, take your boat to dinner. There are restaurants there and you know, a beach entry and a lazy river and everything you'd ever want in a community. And then Bridgeland is another really popular community. We've built a couple homes in there with people and they tend to love it. On the other side of 99 from Bridgeland, they are doing a new outdoor mall there too, which is, you can see them breaking ground for it. It'll probably be a few years off. It's closer to 290 on your way to Austin. Like I said, it's very family friendly. It is diverse as well, if that's important to you. Some of the neighborhoods I mentioned, Town Lake, Bridgeland, there's Fairfield. I actually just put a house under contract yesterday in Fairfield for some of my Arizona clients. Coles Crossing is very, very popular, kind of hard to get into right now. Rock Creek, all sorts of neighborhoods in there in that area that all feed the Cypress schools. And all the areas that I mentioned, the schools are gonna have all sorts of ratings. Some will have A+ and be very highly rated. Some will not. I say this all the time. Go on HAR, click on the school, see what how the kids are scoring, if that's even important to you. Some people, the schools don't matter. Okay, so on to Tomball. I used to live in Tomball. It's a great little, well, it's not little anymore, but small town feel. We have the German festival twice a year, once in the fall, once in the spring. It's really fun. The whole town kind of shuts down and they have great beer and pretzels and entertainment and everything you'd ever want German. And they have Tomball nights in the fall. I think it's like in August, and it's where all the shops kind of get together and offer a discount, you know, all the way across the town. You need to look at Main Street in Tomball. I went there yesterday and had a meeting. There's a really cute coffee shop at Rebar. Tejas Burgers is there. There's actually 2 new breweries. One is Fire. Well, that's not new. It's a couple years old, but a brand new one just went in Tomball, and it is super cool. You need to definitely go check it out. I thought I wrote down the name, but I did not. So, but it is great. There's antique stores. There's everything you'd ever want. So definitely check out Tomball. They have like a homecoming parade. They have a Christmas parade where they shut down Main Street and they have floats and Santa comes, and it has a lot of small town feel to it. And it too has, okay, so I forgot, Cypress has hospitals. It has Memorial Hermann and one other. Tomball has just HCA right there, but further into 49, you're gonna have your Methodist, your Willowbrook, and all those. So there's hospitals all over the suburbs here, which is really cool. The neighborhoods I would look at if you wanna be, so Tomball is split in Tomball Memorial and Tomball. Those are their 2 high schools. They only have 2. They're both 6A now. They're smaller 6A. So the 6As kind of break it down. They're in the smaller 6A. I would guess close to 3,000 kids, 2,800 in those schools. It changes all the time, but that's kind of where we were at when we were there. On the south side, if you want to go to Tomball Memorial, that's the newer of the 2 schools. Tomball High School is obviously the original. On the south side, there's Wildwood and North Point and all those areas down there. Great area to live in. North of that, if you're looking for luxury, Willow Creek Ranch, I used to live in there. It's a great master plan community, gated community that has state-of-the-art stables and all sorts of stuff in it. So if you're looking for luxury, I would definitely check out Willow Creek Ranch. It's hard. I have 1 listing in there now and 1 more coming, but it's hard to get in there. It's a very popular place as well. Waterstone is kind of an acreage community that a lot of people like. There's Tomball Creekside, which is south of the Woodlands, kind of a newer area, very happening, brand new grocery, brand new bourbon bars. People love that part of Tomball. And then you also have a brand new football stadium for Tomball. You have Lori's, which is a great furniture store that a lot of people like. And then, like I said, the HCA hospital. Okay, so moving on, we're gonna go to Magnolia. So Tomball has 2 high schools. Magnolia has 2 high schools. Magnolia is the original, but they call it New Magnolia, and Mag West are the 2 hospital. I mean, gosh, it's too early for me to be filming the 2 high schools. And they are big 5A right now. So they're like 1 step below Tomball as far as size. That gets redone every 2 years. It's about to get redone again, but when I'm filming this, they are big 5A. Not as much as far as like small town Main Street stuff. If you're looking at a map, 1488 is part of New Magnolia, and that probably has the most amenities. When you go out to Mag West, it's more ranches, high meadow ranches out there, and a lot of people live in there. Not as many shops and restaurants there as there are in New Magnolia, which is 1488. Some neighborhoods, High Meadow Ranch on the Mag West side. High Meadow Estates is gorgeous out off 149. That's New Magnolia. Moston Manor. Thousand Oaks is really good. Lake Windcrest, they too have a lake in the back that people boat on. I just put a house under contract in there. It's a great neighborhood off 1488. So those are some of the bigger neighborhoods. You have Hebrews Coffee, which is a great little coffee shop there off 1488. You've got obviously like your Chick-fil-A, your Target, all that stuff is right on 1488. If you're looking on the map where it says Egypt, you're gonna see Chick-fil-A, Home Depot, you know, Cane's Chicken, all that kind of stuff. There's a really cool R&D rustic furniture off 1488 that I love. There's a new H-E-B going in. And then if you're going towards Old Magnolia, kind of out 249 to 149, there's Lone Pint Brewery and Deep Woods Winery. And so those are both, and Bernhardt Winery. They're kind of off the beaten path, but those are really cool to go visit if you're going out that way. Just not a lot of, so 249, the freeway, is just now going through to College Station. So that whole area is going to develop. It's just gonna take some time. So, okay, moving on to the Woodlands. Now, the Woodlands is part of Conroe ISD, which has a lot of high schools. In the Woodlands itself, though, there's basically the Woodlands High, which I mentioned has 4,400 kids. And then College Park is also kind of in that Woodlands area. So those two are kind of the two main high schools that service the Woodlands, both rated pretty well. The Woodlands has John Cooper, which is a private school that they boast of very highly educated, you know, students. And then the Woodlands the Woodlands Christian Academy is a really big private Christian academy. We actually looked at sending our kids there. It's a great school as well. So that's something to look at. Obviously the Woodlands, I've talked about it a million times. There's close proximity to 5-star dining, restaurants, shopping, anything you would need right there in the Woodlands. They too have all the hospitals. They probably have 5 or 6. They have a Costco, Nordstrom, everything. And the Woodlands is older, so I would say 90s to early 2000s. There's like 10 different villages. So you've got Alden Bridge, Cochran's Crossing, Indian Springs, and then the kind of newer part is Sterling Ridge and Creekside. I mentioned Creekside. They're zoned to Tomball, but they're just south of the Woodlands. It's maybe like 10 minutes away. So that kind of has the best of both worlds. But all the villages that you can kind of get to the Woodlands and are part of the township are right there, kind of tucked in. They're older homes, but a lot of them have been remodeled and redone, and they're beautiful. There's tons of trees. As you get further out to Tomball, Magnolia, Woodlands, that's when your tall trees are gonna start coming into play. And so, okay, you've got Hughes Landing for your shopping. You've got Cynthia Woods Mitchell Pavilion. You've got close proximity to really everything. You've got Restaurant Row, and then Market Street is a really cool outdoor area in the Woodlands. Okay, so of all the suburbs, I feel like the Woodlands has the most to offer. Oh, let's talk a little bit about counties. So Cypress is in Harris County. KATY is in Fort Bend County. Tomball is split between Harris and Montgomery, and then Magnolia would be all Montgomery County. Woodlands is mostly Montgomery County, and then Montgomery, the city, is obviously Montgomery County. Okay, so let's go out to Montgomery. That's where we moved to this summer. I love it out here. I love the trees. I love the hills. I love the lake. It's a slower pace. I think it's a great spot. The schools are a little bit smaller, so we are right now small 5A. I think Lake Creek has like 1,600 or 1,700 kids in it. Same with Montgomery. So under 2,000 in those two schools. There's Montgomery High School and Lake Creek High School out in Montgomery. So Montgomery has a small town charm. It has a really small town that they're kind of revitalizing. That's where the Cozy Grape is that I've talked about before, and Hodgepodge Lodge, and the lobster food truck, and there's a new wing stop, and just, it's a cute, charming little downtown, old houses that you can kind of walk to the downtown. The dividing line for the two high schools is mostly 105, which is the road that runs right by Lake Conroe. So north of that, mostly, there's a few exceptions to this, is Montgomery High School, and south of that's going to be the newer Lake Creek High School. Go look at a picture of Lake Creek High School. It's absolutely beautiful. So Montgomery is where the Texas flag was born. It's extremely conservative, probably not as diverse, and kind of has that small town, not hustle bustle feel. There's one hospital out in Conroe called HCA, but you're about 20 minutes, I would say maybe 25 from all the Woodlands hospitals. I live in Wood Forest. If you're looking for master planned out in Montgomery, I would definitely check it out. There are biking and walking trails. It's on a golf course. There's an adult pool, there's a kid pool, and then we have this whole shopping center going in. It's got a brand new organic grocery store and coffee shops. And last night we went to Wister's Bar and Grill. It just opened, fabulous new bar in the area. So it's growing. They kind of call it like the little Woodlands. The homes are a lot newer in Wood Forest. They're like, you know, probably 2010 or newer. So if you want newer and not so old, then I would head out this way. There's also a lot of acreage communities out here. So Crown Oaks, that's where we're building, or Grand Lake Estates. Those are kind of acreage communities that if you're just looking for a little bit more land, then that might be a good spot. I will say the acreage is expensive here, and I think it's expensive. So you can get a good house for $400,000, but then you put that on, 2 acres and it's gonna up your cost quite a bit. So there is the Montgomery Wine and Music Festival, which is really fun in downtown Montgomery. And then there's a bunch of kind of pocketed neighborhood. Fairwater, I have a few homes under contract in there. That's a newer community and a little bit more affordable, right over by the high school. So if you're kind of looking for newer and more affordable, or you can go to all the lake communities. So there's, Walden, I've put several people in there and they love it. Very low tax rate. I think it's like 2.2. In Wood Forest, it's 2.8. So as you go out to Montgomery, the taxes tend to be a little bit lower, but that's different for every neighborhood. Check out my tax video. And then the last thing I wanted to mention was Conroe. Conroe is north of 45, right near the lake. Like, you can have lake life. There's a bunch of new neighborhoods. Right now, the high school is not as highly rated if you're looking at the ratings. However, they're kind of revitalizing and the city is moving out that way, and I think it will eventually kind of turn over. But right now, the high school, I can't remember the rating, B or C or something like that. Not horrible, but definitely different than like the Woodlands and Montgomery high schools. But Conroe, you can get in that Willis area, you can get a lot of bang for your buck and a lot of new construction out that way. So if you're looking kind of to get a newer area, a kind of underdeveloped area that I think will grow over time, then you may look out in Conroe. So, oh my gosh, that was a lot of information early, and now I gotta go get another kid awake. So anyway, sorry I wasn't quite on my game today, but you guys know where to find me. Please call, text me. Somebody texted me yesterday and it went to like an other mailbox because I didn't have their number programmed in. So if I don't get back to you, keep bugging me because I'm usually really responsive. So, reply again, hey Natasha, did you get this? Or sometimes like some of my DMs go to different folders. So anyway, you have my number below. Houston Realtor Natasha on Instagram and TikTok, Natasha Tessier on Facebook, and natashatessier@gmail.com. I'm happy to try to set up either a phone call or a Zoom and then put you on a list and try to help you relocate here. And just reach out anytime. Hope you guys have a blessed day.